the ideal way has been explained by our mother Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. She said whenever Ramadan is coming, the Prophet used to be worried not to miss the time. Not to miss the time in two ways, in terms of his health and calculation of time. His health. Always ensure that your health is ready for Ramadan. The Prophet said, once it is 15th of Ramadan, of the month that precedes Ramadan, don't fast. Make yourself ready, because it's something that is required by God. Make your body ready to do the fast. When Ramadan comes, you cannot have excuse that I am tired, I am sick. You cannot have, except if it is not by your making. But if you stress yourself too much, so much that when Ramadan now comes, you are not able to fast, then you can have a share of the blame. So that is number one. You have to prepare your body. Two, you have to prepare your soul. How do you prepare your soul? When you prepare your body, because in Ramadan, that is the when we do too much of a lot of worship and sacrifice. When I say sacrifice, you drop a lot of things that are even your enjoyment, apart from food and water and meeting your wife, playing all about, doing all this. Apart from that, you engage in a lot of Quranic recitation. You watch video, you read papers, you go on net. You don't do all those things when you are in Ramadan. You will rather be involved in recitation of the Quran and doing nawafil. The body will require some energy to do all this. You do a lot of nawafil, that is bringing rakat, prayers, doing it regularly. In the night of Ramadan, that is the most strenuous part of the day. Not even what we do in the day. It is the strenuous thing we do in the night that really engage one most. In the night, you wake up to do tahajjud. It can take as much as 2 hours in the middle of the night. And that is one of the essence why we need to wake up for sahur. We need to wake up for sahur because Allah still wants us to do a lot of ibadah, which ordinarily we don't do. We don't really much engage ourselves outside Ramadan, except those who are conscious. And Allah told the Prophet Muhammad only وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَتَهَجَّدْ لَهُ نَافِلَةً لَكَ عَسَىٰ أَن يَبْعَثَكَ رَبُّكَ مَقَامًا مَحْمُودًا. When it is the night, wake up to observe some nawafil, to do some prayers. It is this waking up of the night that Allah will use to raise you, to elevate you both spiritually and physically in this world. When you have any challenge in the world, you wake up in the middle of the night to do all this. And when you do all this for the whole of the month of Ramadan, Ramadan will be like a training period. When you are able to do it for complete 30 days, then it should be easy for you to do it in a complete 6 months, in a complete 1 year, and in the entirety of your life. So Ramadan is a madrasa. It's a place of learning. It's a school where you will be taught how to be God conscious, where you will be taught how to be religious, where you will be taught how to be loving, where you will be taught how to be giving, where you will be taught how to be forgiving, where you will be taught how to do all kinds of goodness, and how to avoid evil, which is the most important of it. How to avoid evil. Ramadan is a place to do all this for you. So when you are fasting, Allah chose a complete 1 month, so that within, and you see, the beginning of Ramadan is still very sweet, very, very sweet. You fast, you wake up in the night, you break. In the middle, still sweet. When it comes to the last 10 days, that is the most tedious part of it. That is when people go for Umrah of Ramadan. Umrah of Ramadan is the last 10 days, which there is a period we call the period of itikaf. This itikaf is a complete seclusion. You leave every worldly things. You close your office, you close your market for complete 10 days. What are you looking for? Looking for the mercy of God. Allah himself also demands for this in the Quran. though it is not compulsory, but the prophet was doing it in his own lifetime. The prophet, Ramadan became compulsory for the prophet on the 8th of Hijrah. On the 2nd of Hijrah. The prophet fast Ramadan only 8 years. Only for 8 years. Though he has been doing he has been doing the fast that I mentioned before of Muharram and other fasting before. But the one that Allah now made compulsory on every Muslim came up on 2nd of Hijrah, which means he fasted only 8 years. And within those 8 years, what was he doing? Jibril will come to him during the last 10 days to teach him and reteach him about the Quran. So the Quran will be rehearsed for him from the beginning to the end throughout that period of itikaf. The same thing when you go for itikaf, you carry your Quran along. Some people target 5 completion of the Quran. Some people target 3 completion of the Quran. Some people that cannot read fast, they target 1 completion of the Quran. You carry the whole of the Quran from the beginning to the end. You read it. By the time you are coming out, you too, you know you are spiritually high. Those who now go for Umrah, what do? It's nawafil. There's nothing they do there. You just go, you are always in the mosque, in the haram. You will be in the haram. There is nothing you do than prayer and recitation of the Quran. Prayer and recitation of the Quran, you do that for 10 days. And you see, the beauty of Islam is that Allah said, whoever is engaged by the recitation of the Quran, that he even forgot to ask anything from Allah. Allah said, what he wouldn't have asked for, if he has used all his period to ask, I will grant what he will have asked for, and even what he will have even forgotten to ask for, I will grant it. So it's a period that either you ask God or you don't ask God, he will grant you once you are in itikaf. And not only that, once you are in itikaf, either you are reciting the Quran, you are sleeping, you are doing anything in that itikaf, either in the mosque or in haram in Makkah, you are taken as a guest of Allah. Allah is your host. You are under the custody of God, even though ordinarily we are under the custody of God. But that one is a special custody. So Allah said, I take responsibility of everything about you. Once you are there, everything about you, I take responsibility of it. So that by the time one gets out of itikaf, I'm telling you, there is no time I go for itikaf that I will know the spiritual difference between myself before entering and when I came out. Sometimes I will be careful of what I say, because sometimes what I say comes to pass immediately. It comes to pass immediately. What I say, once I do such a thing, once what I say comes to pass immediately, and you will now look at what is different from the kind of life I was using then and the kind of life I used while I was in itikaf. You only see that the only difference was that you will engage yourself throughout with the recitation of the Quran. That is the only thing that engage you, which is quite different from what was engaging you while you are outside. While you are outside, you are engaging. I am a lawyer now. I will be engaged with litigation, another man's business. Ìjà tí òṣojú mi, nǹkan tí ò kàn mí, màmá dá sí, bó ṣe rí nìyẹn, bó ṣe rí kọ́ ẹ̀ abẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ lẹ ṣe pé àwa lọ́yà agbẹjọ́ ẹlẹ́jọ́ rò ẹjọ́ tí mi ò mọ ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ mò ń gbàrò. Or that is not so. When you are in itikaf or you are doing these last 10 days, that is the time you forgot your wife, you forgot your children, even if it is possible, you will even forget yourself. The only thing you do in itikaf, which is similar to what you do outside, is that you sleep and you eat. That is the only thing that is similar to what you do outside. You sleep and you eat. When do you eat? You eat when you break and you take your sahur. That is only 2 times. And you sleep when you are tired. But every other thing, it is ibadah all through during itikaf. That is the last 10 days of Ramadan. That is the most tedious time of Ramadan. And it is the time that one gets very highly elevated spiritually before God. You yourself will know. In your inner self, you will know. In your tongue, you will know. In your behavior, you will know. If one can carry such life to death, you'll be very high in Jannah. That is just it.
For someone who has just taken time to listen to what you said regarding the last 10 days of Ramadan, itikaf, and if the person even has the wherewithal of going for Umrah, a lot of people will be interested in also doing that.
Yes.
Then the question now arises that for someone whose job schedule would not allow him to have seclusion in the mosque for 10 days, or probably even traveling for
Umrah.
Umrah, how can such a person manage his time
That is
and
a
not
very
missing out?
that is a very beautiful question. There are two schools of thought concerning. I can say three. Some said it must necessarily be 10. It must necessarily be 10. The last 10 days. Some said no, because in some languages of the Quran, we have area where Allah use itikaf for less than 10 days. You understand? For less than 10 days, which shows that one can do itikaf for less than 10 days. Once you have gone into the mosque to seclude yourself, it is only the number of days you do that you get the reward. You understand? It is only the number of days you do that you get the reward. So if you are able to do 3 days, alhamdulillah. If you are able to do 10 days, alhamdulillah. If you are only able to do only the 27th, which people used to think is the, what do we do in itikaf? We search for the night of majesty. Because Allah said, Inna anzalinahu fi laylatil qadri wa ma adraka ma laylatul qadri khairu min alfi shahr tanazzalu lil malaikatu wa ruhu fiha bi-idni rabbihim min kulli amri salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr. Allah said he revealed the Quran in the night of majesty. Allah said, how can you determine a particular night that is the night of majesty? Allah said that night is more than 1,000 months. And 1,000 months means 83 years and some months and some days. 83 years and some days. So you will get the reward you will have for 83 years and some days just on a night. So you will now rush to get that night. And the Prophet said, there is no day that Allah free people from hellfire as much as he free people on that night of majesty. A lot of people that have been destined to go to hell, on that night, Allah will remove the rope of hellfire from their neck and make them people of Jannah. That night, Allah himself will come down and be saying, who wants to gain Jannah? Will be requesting, looking for who. So that is why people will never wish to miss that night. But is it 27th? We can't guarantee, ascertain that, because the Prophet said, when he sought from Allah to show him the night, Allah did not say we will not show him, but Allah did not want him to expose the night to us, so that we will not limit our worship to that night or that day. He now said, when Allah showed me, as I was going to reveal the night to people, Allah removed it from my mind. But he said he gave me some sign by which I can determine the night. But he said, if you want to search for the night on the odd last 10 days of Ramadan, that is 21st, 23rd, 25th, 26th, 25th, 27th, 29th. Those are the last odd days. So he said, if you are able to search for the night in any of these last odd 10 days, you are likely to get it. And once you are able to get it, you are fortunate. And if you are there in the mosque doing seclusion on that day, either you are doing ibadah or you are not doing ibadah, once the year comes, they write you among those who are doing it. That is, either you are sleeping or you are reciting your Quran or you are doing your worship. Once you are there in the mosque, it will be written for you that you are present among those who will be given such big grace, such big redemption, the kind of redemption you can never get from anywhere. That is the redemption you work for. You don't get redemption when you don't work for it. You walk by faith. When you believe in something, you walk by it. Not to think that somebody will do it and then you will now be redeemed. You will do the work yourself and be redeemed. And this work is a very tedious work that you have to do, and you get redeemed by doing that work. That's the difference. You have to work for it. You work to make living. You work to become what you become in this world. Even you work to gain Jannah, the paradise we get. Though our work cannot do it, but you must do the duty that Allah will say, ah yes, he tried, then he will now admit you into paradise. So, but when you now want to do that work, you have to work it, you have to show sincerity in doing it, and then gain the Jannah. Not that you just think, this redemption is free, and then my only belief will carry me to redemption. No, your redemption lies in your work with your belief. Because you don't work without belief, you work with belief. Islam says You cannot say you are a believer until you walk with your belief. You have to walk with your belief. Not that you just believe. If you say you believe in something and you are doing otherwise, then you are a monophic. You know, a hypocrite. You believe in this, but you do otherwise. You are an hypocrite. But if you believe in something, you walk by it. So that is why you walk by faith. Not that you have a faith in something and you walk contrary to the belief of that faith, or you walk contrary to the belief of that person. So you are not faithful.